aimless in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me.
Tekhamon en bord du Resurgence, nous partons à l'aventure, 3e épisode, je m'installe, permettez-moi, et nous arrivons maintenant au système Otari. On a réussi à se décramponner de la station Deep Space, avec quelques péripéties, une tempête ionique, mais ça va, l'ingénieur a juste une petite brûlure, est à l'infirmerie, et notre commandeur Sara, qui a besoin de deutérium pour survivre, a eu un petit malaise après ce stress. Les deux protagonistes sont là-bas, et j'étais assez surpris, dès le début, Charaz, je crois son nom, a été dragué, courtisé, donc ça me perturbe un peu dans le scénario, mais c'est pas grave, nous on veut la game. Normalement on prend comme il faut là, ça me fait peur quand je vois ça. Continuer, est-ce que c'est bon pour la sauvegarde? Est-ce que j'ai pigé?
Approaching the rendezvous point outside Atari space.
Helm, bring us out of warp.
Dropping to impulse.
Oui, on arrive dans le système Otari.
Interference surging, Captain. Shield integrity holding. We can take it.
We are at the correct coordinates to meet the shuttle.
Commander Rydek, find us our diplomat, if you will.
Aye, Captain. Let's reduce the noise. Filter out environmental signals. I can manually tune what's left for Federation signal types.
Ok, je tourne. Je cherche. Je rame. Ah.
I've located the shuttle.
Opening comms.
On screen.
Shuttle
Les
to
dérives.
Resolute. Shuttle to Resolute. Debris field. Lost maneuvering. Losing.
I can't get it any clearer. It won't get a transporter lock. It's just not happening. Power up the tractor beam. We'll pull them directly into the docking bay.
Bien, commandant. Capitaine. Ah, l'enseigne bleue.
Diaz, you good to run the tractor emitter?
Yes, sir.
On regarde la cicatrice, c'est cool.
You sure?
I'm sure.
C'est vraiment un bon choix entre l'ingénieur qui gère toute la mécanique et les commandeurs. Non, c'est bien. Hein. Enfin, je suis en extase, hein, je vous préviens.
Lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the rotation.
Alors, pour stabiliser, on fait comment? On va chercher la navette. Oui, on l'a mis dans le sens du rayon tracteur.
We're pulling in debris.
I'm on it.
Utiliser le rayon tracteur pour faire exploser les astéroïdes. Ok. On le fait dévier. Ah, ils ont une certaine résistance. Attention, attention. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? On l'a pas vu dans le capteur.
That's gonna take out the shuttle. Diaz, the bridge. There's a large piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't handle it.
Can our shields take it? I believe so. Commander Rydek, plot an intercept course.
On it.
Trajectoire affichée. La navette est là. Il faut donc qu'on prenne l'interception. Très bien, on va faire bouclier
Here we
rempart.
go. Maneuvering thrusters bearing 53 Mark 17. 200 meters on an intercept course.
Maneuvering.
Got it.
Whoa! Someone's working hard on the bridge.
Ils sont sains et saufs, c'est beau, c'est comme dans un film.
We've got the shuttlecraft on board.
Good job. We're on our way down to meet them.
Mais c'est Spock?
Terra firma, so to speak.
C'est Spock!
Ambassador Spock.
Ah, je m'attendais pas à ça. C'est génial. C'est émotionnel, hein, c'est du peu. Ambassadeur?
The captain will be right down to meet you, sir.
In that case, I will wait for him here.
D'accord, et Captain Kirk n'est pas là? Ah, c'est impressionnant.
Apologies for the landing, Ambassador. I was operating the tractor beam, sir. I take responsibility.
Our arrival was the smoothest part of our journey. Your artistry with a tractor beam is commendable. We thought we were prepared for our arrival in Hotari space, but it is evident my craft was not sufficiently robust for such intense ionic activity.
The storm has been pretty intense.
There was an element that was most unusual. Before you came to our aid, our maneuvering thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable.
Sabotage?
So we attempted a short traversal at warp speed, only to find that we could not achieve warp at all, even though our diagnostics computer showed no faults or anomalies. What do you make of that? When all indications say that warp speed is possible.
I'd rather investigate than speculate.
A sound principle.
Take readings, run some additional diagnostic checks, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Quite logical, Petty Officer...
Carter Diaz. Sir.
Thank you.
C'est pas de Chara, c'est Carter Diaz, ok.
Excuse me.
I'm honored to have you aboard. I'd like to get right to it. We're already behind.
C'est la voix de l'acteur, hein, j'ai l'impression quand même.
Ambassador Spock, my senior staff. It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
I didn't mean to suggest you were stuck in the past.
Arrête de lécher, ça se voit.
You're right, Ambassador. Not the most diplomatic choice of words.
Your experience comes from the past. But our present situation calls for it.
True enough.
Ça, c'est bien.
We were hoping you could fill us in on the details. We got the basics from Starfleet. Two formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed, and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour. Lydia and Hotari. The Lydians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago. This is Tau, the Hotari moon. It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Illydians have shared a mining operation there. The Illydians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force.
Échange
The stability
équitable.
of that arrangement was the source of their peace, until recently. The Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Illydians from their system. That is the official story, as told by the Hotari when they requested Federation mediation. But the details remain scant. Communications between all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
La réplique, ça. Non, mais est-ce qu'ils peuvent tenir les mines ou plutôt comment c'est arrivé, c'est quoi la cause.
How is it the Hotari were able to turn the tables and take the minds against superior forces, especially after decades in this arrangement?
Unclear. The answer to that question may be the key to a new, lasting peace, and one that I hope we can uncover
C'est clair
during
qu'il y a un
these
changement énorme.
negotiations.
On va enquêter.
But it is unlikely the relatively primitive Hotari forces would stand a chance against the Elydian fleet if this escalates to open war. Left unchecked, this conflict will result in more bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
And the dilithium trade hangs in the balance.
Clearly, the Hotari have been exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them peace is the more profitable alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mines. And for the Hotari, something is better than nothing. Peace is our objective after all.
Bon, on a un officier obéi au
That is
capitaine.
correct.
Non.
The Hotari just won their independence. It's hard to believe they would give that up just for profit.
I agree. It would be
C'est des
exceedingly
rayons de travail,
difficult
donc
to
on peut
bring
pas
the
mettre notre avis.
Hotari to that position.
Neither the Elydians or the Hotari are members of the Federation, so we can't make them do anything.
There is an additional complicating factor I should mention. In the past, the Federation has relied on the Elydians as a source of dilithium.
Et le lithium qui sert à faire marcher les réacteurs pour ceux qui ne
That
connaissent pas Star
certainly
Trek.
changes
Voilà.
things.
The Federation sources its dilithium from a lot of places.
Yeah.
Effet
and
de
this is one of
levier ou
them.
coupable? On est là pour agir, donc on va dire un effet de levier.
We could use that as leverage with the Elydians. They'll want the Federation to continue buying from them.
There might be something to that,
C'est pas la
Commander.
bonne réponse pour Spock.
Putting that on the table could make the Hotari more hostile.
Given the Federation's involvement in the Elydium dilithium trade, Captain Solano and I must make every effort to appear neutral in these negotiations.
Mais nous sommes des riches
What
américains
worries
et on va
me
chercher vos
is if this
ressources.
whole thing unravels and we're at the mercy of the storm at less than full strength.
We can't let it come to that.
Considering what the ion storm has done to our ship, and the Ambassador's shuttle, we have to assume the Elydian fleet has had problems with it as well. This recent surge in the energy disturbance temporarily levels the playing field.
Commander Westbrook is correct. The energy anomalies around the Hotari systems have been noted in the past.
If it's keeping the two sides talking instead of shooting at each other, that actually helps us negotiate a peace.
And we'll take advantage of that as long as it works in our favor.
And when it doesn't,
All the more reason to learn as much about it as we can while we are here. We do not want to be caught unprepared, should the energy anomaly continue to fluctuate. So I trust we understand our circumstances.
We're operating on a strict timetable here, and we're going to be leaving for the negotiations shortly. Commander Westbrook, I want you to leverage our systems to investigate the anomaly from here while we're gone.
aye, Captain.
Thank you all.
Dismissed.
J'aime beaucoup, il y avait un tableau derrière les Spock et le commandant. Voilà.
I want to speak to
La
both
Voie
of you
lactée,
privately.
les galaxies, les systèmes, c'est beau.
Ambassador Spock, I'd like to make a formal introduction. My first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
Commander, as you are aware, there are limits to what Captain Solano and I can do in our official capacity as representatives of the Federation. But someone in an unofficial capacity, your first officer, for example, would not be bound by those restrictions. Commander Rydek could ingratiate herself to certain parties behind the scenes, where they may be more candid in revealing information that could lead to a resolution.
On va faire une enquête de voisinage.
She certainly goes her own way. Maybe that helps in this case.
I'm perfectly happy to work outside the lines.
And by extension, you will be doing your duty, Commander.
Just not too far outside the lines. Well, I hope Commander Rydek will have more luck finding out what really happened than we will through official diplomatic channels.
The fate of the negotiations, the interests of the Federation, and the prospect for peace may very well depend on it.
Est-ce qu'on va être bon? Ça, c'est une autre histoire. Très bien. On est sur la Lune des Hotari. On va donc aller se poser alors. On va enquêter d'abord sur la navette de Spock. Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé, Carter? Oh oh, il y a un Vulcain dans l'air. Oh oh, ça va pas là, vu la tronche qu'elle
Mr.
fait.
Diaz, I understand you have already discussed the warp drive failure with Ambassador Spock?
I have.
It is imperative that the Ambassador's shuttle be flight ready. I need you both to ascertain the root cause of the system failures he encountered.
I'm surprised, Commander. I thought you would have wanted to work on Ambassador Spock's shuttle yourself.
I respect the Ambassador and his many accomplishments, but I do not derive any satisfaction from interacting with his shuttle as if it were somehow transubstantiated through its association with him. Especially when I have the entirety of this starship to concern myself with.
The Ambassador asked me to take a look, and I'm ready to crack this thing open.
Good. You could learn from Mr. Diaz's focus.
I'll take notes.
Then I will leave you to it. Make note of any abnormalities in your report. Carry on.
It seems like he's warming up to us.
Yeah.
Even Chovok has to look at that face and know you've earned some real respect. And I have to admit that I owe you one. You were right to make me go first. I don't know what I was thinking.
You've pulled me out of trouble how many times? Call it even.
Ah, excusez-moi. Je suis obligé de faire ça pour aller bannir de la pub dans le chat. Je reviens tout de suite, hein, évidemment. Comme ça, vous avez les critiques. Voilà, au revoir. Est-ce qu'il est banni? C'est bon. Et nous, on revient au principal.
At the very least,
est-ce que l'image revient?
Ouais, c'est bon. Sorry, and brandy you're still on the hook for. But
vous me dites dans le chat, hein, c'est un
we have
souci.
work to do.
Ok, on va inspecter la navette.
Ready to go?
All set. Let's run the diagnostic.
Alors. Oh, je dirige la main. Commencez le diagnostic.
So.
Ah
I know
non.
about your talk with Miranda.
Pas ça.
You do?
She sent me a Priority 1 dispatch right after your conversation.
C'est pas possible.
I'm happy for you. Both of you.
Thanks.
But I'm only going to tell you this once. Don't screw this up. Because I would be very unhappy if you tried this out and then, I don't know, 6 weeks or 6 days later, I have to start splitting holidays between
Bonsoir
the two of
Crimson,
you.
bienvenue sur Starfleet.
All because things went south and you're not on speaking terms. That just isn't gonna work for me.
Ils vont pas coucher ensemble. Je vais tout faire.
That's not gonna happen, okay? And why are you even going there? We haven't even gone on a date yet.
I just want you to know where I stand. I like my friends and I like our group. I don't want to lose that. Is that thing done?
Yeah, it's wrapping up.
Ah, dialogue a coupé
Let's
court.
see. The relays along the primary EPS are blown, but the backup relays are all intact.
An EPS overload from the warp drive could cause that. But how did the shuttle end up dead in the water?
Huh. Well, maybe the ship's data recorder can tell us something.
Alors tu arrives dans l'histoire, Crimson est en train de vérifier la navette de l'ambassadeur qui a eu une panne, et l'ambassadeur c'est Spock, le vrai Spock. Et donc on est en train de voir pourquoi il a un souci pour rejoindre notre vaisseau, le Resolute Data Recorder. Alors, on voit un peu ce qui s'est passé.
Here.
They were only about 8 minutes from their plotted warp point. No
Trois
faults,
choses.
just those warnings. What are they?
There was a complete warp cascade failure.
Wow. They're lucky the shuttle didn't turn inside out.
Makes me think the computer panicked on the warp field equation.
Et après, il y a eu quoi par la distorsion?
The warp field became inverted suddenly.
I've seen this happen when the center warp coil cracks.
A cracked warp coil throws a fault code.
Still, we should take a look.
Il n'y a pas eu d'alarme. Justement, l'informatique disait que tout allait bien.
Subspace variance out of tolerance. What does that mean?
It means the main navigation array lost sight of space somehow.
Will the array going offline cause that?
Yes, but it should have also thrown a fault code.
Ouais, aucune alarme n'est passée.
Any one of these failures should have thrown a fault.
If it was caused by a system failure.
None of this caused the relays to blow. Roll
Ça
forward
pue
when
le
that happened.
sabotage, mais c'est normal.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, they take a moment to get their bearings and they attempt to re-engage the
Ils arrivent dans le champ
drive.
d'astéroïdes là.
There. That's the relays blowing.
And look, there's another warp system alert.
They're all the same. Subspace variants out of tolerance, or warp inversions. Finally, there's a complete warp cascade failure.
Then it's one of two things. Either a warp coil is cracked or the navigation array is offline.
That makes sense.
Il faudrait trouver quelque chose qui perturberait ça.
You want to check the warp coils or the navigation array? I'll check the other. Let's not overcomplicate this. One of these systems is likely broken.
Je sais qu'on parle beaucoup de distorsion, allons-y pour les bobines.
I'll check the nacelles for
On va voir le matos qu'il est bon. Votre tricorder peut enregistrer et analyser des données. Le regarder révélera l'invisible. Utilisez la touche 2 pour équiper ou regainer le tricorder. Et utilisez la clic gauche à souris pour scanner les objets qui brillent. Vous devez être à proximité de certains objets pour les scanner. Regardez le cadre de l'écran pour voir si vous êtes trop loin. Ok. Non, voilà. Quand même, concentre-toi. Je sais que tu peux y arriver. Certains objets que vous scannerez activeront un scan en profondeur. Lors d'un scan en profondeur, utilisez la touche A ou E pour changer de mode de scan et chercher les objets brillants. Ok, les indicateurs du mode du tricorder clignoteront si un objet à scanner dans ce mode se trouve à proximité. Lorsque vous avez scanné tous les objets, le cadre change de couleur. Maintenez le clic droit de la souris pour analyser les données et terminer la numérisation. Bon, est-ce que j'ai tout compris? Alors, cherchons des anomalies. Ah. D'accord, là je suis en train de scanner la bobine. C'est parfait. Mais là il n'y a rien en fait. C'est bio, rad. Ah, il faut scanner là aussi. Lorsqu'elles sont en attente, les bobines de distorsion produisent un champ électromagnétique résiduel. Aucune déviation détectée. Donc ça a été fait. Les bobines centrales guident le champ de distorsion à travers l'événement focal en maintenant un vecteur de poussée. Aucune fissure détectée. Ok. Ça présente des traces de maintenance. Bon, bah écoute, normalement il n'y a pas de micro-fissure. On est ok. Et au niveau bio... je ne comprends pas. Qu'est-ce que je regarde? Ça m'a l'air bon.
I checked every coil on the port nacelle for imbalances. If any coil in either engine were cracked, I would have detected it. So, it must be the navigation array.
Except it's not. Checked and double-checked.
Well, the readings don't lie.
Here comes the security detail for the way team.
Ah, les ennuis, Miranda. Arrête de sourire bêtement. C'est pas possible. Non, j'ai promis, on reste amis.
Hey.
Hey.
I'm not here.
Oh, le drama.
We're escorting the negotiating team to the surface as soon as they come down from the bridge. I don't want to interrupt some important work. I was just hoping to see you before I go. The captain and the others will be here any minute now. Should be an interesting ride down to the surface.
Petite flatterie. Allez.
You're the one with the important job to do. Keeping the captain safe. And Ambassador Spock.
It doesn't always feel that way. Baking in the hot sun, standing guard next to an empty shuttlecraft. But it has its moments.
Hey, Maris. Aren't these those button pushers you're always hanging out with?
And you're the phaser jockeys we always beat in Parisi squares, right?
All aboard for Hotari.
That another one of the captain's railroad things?
Gotta be. I just usually zone out by the time he gets to the whole, steam engines were the warp drives of their day part.
Il y a un conflit, il y a un sabotage, on ne trouve rien. On a une copine de sécurité qui me fait des rentres dedans. Donc elle a accès à les zones protégées. Elle est un peu entreprenante. Résiste.
Not gonna lie, I'd rather not leave.
Non,
right
on l'embrasse pas, on reste...
More important
non.
things on my mind.
Comptez pas sur moi.
Do me a favor. Come back safe.
Deal.
C'est bien. Non, 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 non.
Be seeing you.
See you later. On reste en bon terme, c'est très bien. On fait attention à la camarade. On l'a dit, on est y allé doucement.
Etzelar de Diaz. If you could float back down to reality, we still have a ways to go.
On n'a toujours pas trouvé le sabotage. Ça pue.
All right, where were we?
Les bobines, c'est fait.
So, the warp coils in the navigation array are fine, but the nav computer doesn't seem to think so.
Il y a peut-être
I'm out of
un
ideas short of
fichier
field
qui
stripping the
trafique.
shuttle from bow to stern.
You wanna take this out of the shuttle and throw it on the bench?
Oh, real hands-on maintenance. I like it. Okay, the nav computer is patched into the ship.
The ship's computer can double-check our work. If the shuttle's nav computer is putting out false data, we'll know it.
Let's run through the shuttle's logs again.
Running now.
On refait le scénario, ok. En 3D, s'il vous plaît.
Same. Warp field inversion and a cascade failure.
Le bateau, c'est bon.
The Resolute computer doesn't show the same subspace variance.
We're in the same conditions that the shuttle was in when it failed. Why wouldn't the ship's computer get a matching result?
What if the subspace variance was a momentary occurrence?
That's a possibility, and it would explain why the simulation under our current sensor readings failed to reproduce the issue.
Les
But a
capteurs ont
subspace
été
anomaly
perturbés.
strong enough to cause a warp field collapse would leave graviton ripples for days.
Let's run with the momentary subspace variance theory for now. Roll forward to the shuttle's attempt to re-engage the warp drive. We need the conditions of space around the shuttle at the moment of warp failure.
Resuming simulation.
Error in warp field calculation. Cochrane formula variables are out of range.
That right there. Take the shuttle sensor data from that moment.
Computer, why did the warp field calculation fail?
Warp field pressure returned non-orthogonal. Results are undefined.
That doesn't help.
Wait, what if we use a different ship?
Put the Resolute into the simulation instead of the shuttle.
Yeah, it should warp just fine. Unless... Computer, run the simulation with the Resolute.
Resolute simulated.
Computer, give me manual control on the warp power.
Static field intensity, warp 1.1. 1.2. 3. Warp pressure is destabilizing. Error in warp field calculation. The warp drive has experienced a system-wide cascade failure.
Qu'est-ce qui
Warp
perturbe?
field collapsed. Subspace variance is out of tolerance. Cochrane formula results are undefined.
Bingo.
Whatto?
Cochrane, c'est l'inventeur de la
The
distorsion.
same moment when the shuttle failed to warp, so did the ship. Whatever happened to the shuttle just happened to us. The Resolute will not sustain warp.
We can't leave Hotari space.
En fait, il y a une sorte de brouilleur, c'est ça? Tu arrives dans le système Otari, mais t'es bloqué, tu peux plus t'échapper en distorsion. Si j'ai compris. Et le commandeur est parti avec Spock. Eh bien, on va voir si on est bon en diplomatie et en inspection. C'est assez spartiate.
Ambassador Spock, Captain Solano, welcome to Hotari. We are honored you've come. My name is Tylos Altaris, Minister of Diplomatic Affairs.
The honor is ours. And this is Commander Jara Rydek, first officer aboard the USS Resolute. You'll find she has a keen mind and unique insight into the dynamics between the Hotari and the Illidians.
It's very nice to meet you.
Likewise. I hope...
These must be the representatives of the mighty Federation. The reigning authority in the galaxy. Or so we've been led to believe. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. But, either way, We're grateful you've made the time to come to our little corner of the universe.
And you are?
This is Galvin, and this is Citron, the heroes of the revolt in the mines.
Bon, le contexte est posé, l'ambiance est là.
Let's hope this is the last time we ever have to come here.
If you'll excuse me.
Il se tape pas dessus, hein. Étonnant.
I think we're about to begin.
Did you hear the arrogance from that guy? I don't know what we're walking into here, but that guy was something.
Something about his tone tells me this won't be easy.
That was my sense as well.
I doubt he speaks for all of Hotari. So I would urge patience until we speak with their queen.
Ah oui, il y a une représentante officielle. C'est pourquoi ce héros se permet d'être comme ça. Il conseille la reine. Ce serait pas mal que j'ai une photo de Spock, j'espère que j'ai réussi à en prendre une. Et Andros, coucou, tu me dis juste bonsoir et je repars, bonne soirée. Mais c'est gentil comme tout, merci à toi. Je pense qu'il fallait montrer de la force, je suis pas sûr, c'est un peu des orques. Je fais comme mon supérieur.
Ambassador Spock, welcome to Hotari Prime.
Est-ce que ce serait pas un système matriarcal?
Your Majesty.
That the Federation would send one of their most respected representatives is not only an honor to the Hotari people and their queen, but recognition of our stature and importance.
Let's get on with it, shall we? With all due respect to the Federation and their ambassador, they have no authority here. We are not members of their alliance. We are not subject to their rule, nor yours. We demand the immediate return of all mining operations to Elydian control, as it has been for centuries and will be for centuries more. That has always been our understanding.
That understanding has changed.
Then you invite war.
And if you cannot remain silent, you will be silenced. But his point is well taken. What is the Federation's interest in this matter? Perhaps you would have us trade one oppressor for another?
The Federation remains neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution of this conflict. We are here at your request, Your Majesty.
For now.
Saying this wouldn't be easy was an understatement. I thought they wanted us here.
Was there something you wanted to say, Captain?
Oh, no. My apologies.
And what about the Kobliad?
Ah, elle connaît mon espèce.
She can speak for herself, can't she? Then let her.
Oula, oula. Bonne nuit, Ilki. Je vais gaffer, je vais tomber. Je vais dire une bourde. Les envahisseurs sont là aussi. Ok. C'est toujours été ça, Star Trek. Calmer un peu le jeu quand même. Par rapport au problème du monde.
Now then, what is your name?
Commander Jara Rydek, Your Majesty.
Being a Kobliad, you would know better than anyone. Your people suffered brutal treatment at the hands of the Cardassians. Their injustice towards the Kobliad is as
C'est intéressant
unimaginable
ça, parce qu'il raconte ça, et les Cardassiens dans les séries c'était contre les Bajorans.
Not unlike how we have been treated
Les sortes de
by the
reptiliens.
Elydians.
As much as they'd have you believe they are the victims here, remember it was the Hotari who attacked us. Hundreds of innocent Elydians were slaughtered without mercy in those mines.
The blood is on their hands, not ours.
Quiet! If after all the Kobliad suffered, you finally had the chance to right that wrong,
Est-ce que c'est le même
to
contexte?
get out from under their control, would you take it? Or would you negotiate a peace?
Faut pas spéculer, je pense qu'il faut écouter un peu plus. Ne spéculons pas, spéculons.
I can't speculate on something that never happened, Your Majesty. Sadly, that opportunity never came for the Kobliad.
No, it did not. But we'd be wise to learn from their example, before we too find ourselves facing extinction. The Federation is the most powerful, most advanced alliance in the galaxy. It's widely known we have an abundance of dilithium in our mines. And it's in your interest to secure a steady supply.
Your Majesty, if I may.
Ambassador Spock would have us believe you're here as a neutral party in the interest of peace.
Au moins, elle est intelligente.
So why are you really here? I want the truth, not your Federation rhetoric.
It's possible the Federation has an interest in both peace and securing a steady source of dilithium. One does not preclude or prevent the other. But that's just my personal opinion.
Given the Federation has done business with the Elidians for decades, I would agree. It's entirely possible, if not highly likely.
What they haven't said, but cannot deny, is a simple truth. The dilithium trade would not and will no longer exist without a Lydian
Ils veulent servir
involvement.
d'intermédiaire quand même.
We created it for the benefit of everyone, especially the Hotari. We've given them warp technology. We've let them share in the profits.
la technologie,
We've made
c'est
their
la fédération qui
lives
l'a inventé.
infinitely better than before dilithium was discovered. All of that goes away if the Federation turns a blind eye to their treachery.
That is enough of your lies! The Hotari are quite capable of running the mines. We've done so for centuries. So tell me, who deserves control of the dilithium trade and the mines on Tau? Who should the Federation recognize? The Hotari or the Elidians?
Je peux pas m'éclipser. Ah mais non, faut pas que je réponde
Only
ça.
be one or the other, not both.
Je ne répondrai pas là. Non. Tu m'obliges à répondre dans le chat. Ceux qui ont la mine ou les Alidiens qui sont intermédiaires. Je pencherai mon cœur quand même pour Otari, mais c'est horrible. Parce qu'ils n'ont pas soi-disant la technologie, mais j'aimerais comprendre pourquoi. En tant que Kobliad, t'es obligé de dire les Otari.
If I have to choose only one, then it would have to be the Hotari.
Well said. How could the just and wise Federation make
embarquer dans un
any
truc, là.
other choice?
This is an outrage. The Federation has lost all credibility.
Mines are ours. Lydia will not be deterred.
Alors Crimson, ton message est
Take
passé, est-ce que
back
c'est
our
quoi la...
mines by any means
Then you
necessary.
will see more
Tu
blood
entends par là?
spilled.
I am more than willing to address your concerns, Your Majesty. Yours as well, Representative.
Tu connais Star Trek?
But I suggest we could have a more productive
C'est
conversation
quoi la diff, la
with a
diffusion?
smaller group. Perhaps
Ah, il faut que tu
only the
argumentes un peu
most
plus.
essential representatives.
J'essaye de te suivre en même temps que l'histoire. Alors, on va pouvoir négocier ou pas un petit peu quand même? On va été
I
testé.
suppose there is some sense to that.
Ah, la différence, excuse-moi. Alors la différence, les Otari, c'était donc des êtres primitifs sur leur lune, ils avaient du dilithium, c'est le minerai qui sert de carburant pour les moteurs des distorsions. Distorsion qui a été inventée par Cochrane, un humain
I hope we meet
sur
again,
Terre.
Jara Ryder.
Et les Alidiens ont mis à profit en ayant en vassal les Otari. Les Alidiens, les aliens de gauche, là, au violet, eux dominent la situation technologique et ils ont... c'est pas un accord, en fait, c'est vraiment un dominant-dominé. Mais voilà que les Otari se sont rebellés et ont tué les Alidiens et ont repris le contrôle des mines, et c'est eux qui ont le minerai. Ce scénario, ce jeu existe depuis un petit moment, et c'est marrant, ça reprend exactement le même problème maintenant qu'on vit avec les métaux rares en Chine, avec les Américains. Pourtant, les Olidiens ont dit qu'il y avait un accord, c'était pas un truc de guerre sadique, il n'y avait pas de mort. Ou j'ai loupé un truc. Alors pourquoi les Otari sont devenus aussi agressifs alors qu'ils n'étaient pas comme ça? C'est là on va enquêter en fait. Et excuse-moi, je peux pas valider ton premier message parce que si je quitte le jeu, ça va pas être joli. Il faut aller voir les différents personnels. On n'a pas eu de sauvegarde encore de chapitrage, hein. On n'a pas changé. Donc on va en pousser encore quelques minutes l'épisode. On est du côté Otari. Ah ils sont là. On a Cidron qui est là. Ok. Tilas qui est intéressante. Et moi, on va d'abord s'occuper de ceux qui dominaient au niveau technologique le système. Officier alidien.
I'm probably not telling you anything you don't already know, but these negotiations rely on the Federation's
Je sais, mais la reine m'a piégé.
As does any hope you might have for a supply of dilithium in the future. So, why you would choose to side with the Hotari escapes me. Without Lydian involvement, there is no dilithium trade. Clearly, you weren't aware.
Tau and the mines belong to the Hotari. They deserve to have control.
Peut-être rééquilibrer l'accord.
You overestimate their ability to run the mining operation. They have no idea what they're doing.
Au moins discute, il est
The Major Solid Arminta, Special Attaché, Lydian Armed Forces. Pleasure to meet you, Commander.
Ils ont un look assez fandard, hein. Franchement.
I have my issues with the Hotari, but I have to give them some credit. They know how to seize an opportunity. Inciting an uprising the same day as a massive, once-in-a-lifetime ion storm.
C'est bizarre, une
Our
coïncidence.
assumption was that this storm was just an anomaly.
Yes, a very convenient anomaly. At least that was what we were told. Of course, I wasn't
Pas si évident
there.
que ça.
But who am I to say otherwise?
Il veut faire entendre quelque chose d'autre. La tempête aurait pu être déclenchée.
Something tells me there's more to the story. So what really happened?
Well, the official story is that it was the storm that enabled the revolt.
Et d'après
How
l'officier de
else do a
sécurité,
bunch of unarmed, unorganized miners seize control of an entire moon, much less thousands of mines? But I've talked to people who were there. They tell a different story. They say they're lucky to have escaped with their lives, that it was more than just the storm, that somehow the miners were able to harness the energy from the storm. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not even sure I believe it myself. But that's what they said.
You said the Hotari were primitive.
Well, they are.
Except for the part about weaponizing ion storms.
oh, il y a un problème technologique. On peut parler aux
If
autres.
you'll excuse me, Commander Ryder.
Mince, 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 mince. Donc eux sont un peu louches en fait, les héros là. On va peut-être parler d'abord à la diplomate Otari, qui n'a peut-être rien à voir. Tilas, elle a l'air sympa.
Commander Rydek, I'm encouraged to see the Federation supporting my people. I'm afraid of what might happen without your help.
If anyone deserves thanks, it's Ambassador Spock. No one is more invested in negotiating a
Faut
peaceful
recentrer, c'est vrai.
settlement to this conflict than he is.
I'm so glad. We need his help before the situation escalates further than it already has. It's been very trying. I saw you speaking with the Elydian. I'm sure they're painting themselves as the victims.
The Elydians are under the impression the Hotari are somehow the cause of the ion storm.
Which I'm sure they attribute to our lack of experience or sheer inferiority. But we are as much the victims of this horrific storm as they are.
Ah.
For the first time in our history, the Hotari have the upper hand. We see
Donc elle n'était
ourselves
pas au
as
courant.
strong instead of downtrodden. New voices have risen up. Old voices shouted down. Galvin and Sidron have become national heroes. Now, they have the Queen's ear. Better or worse, depending on your perspective.
I get the sense you don't exactly trust them.
C'est étonnant le changement d'attitude.
They're miners, not diplomats. I don't trust their instincts, which are leading us to war.
Donc la voix officielle
My fear
Otari
has
était
been
prêt à
that
rester
the
en paix.
Elydians will launch an
Donc il y
attack
a autre
and
chose là.
crush us. You've seen their starship, no doubt. They could have retaken the mines whenever they wanted to, but it never happened. And as strange as this may sound, I'd almost say they're afraid. I just don't know what they're afraid of. It's still the same bluster and bravado you would expect from them. But it has no teeth. Like they're afraid of what might happen.
Do you think it has something to do with the ion storm? Right now, it's stronger than ever, isn't it?
It's entirely possible. I'm not a scientist, but I do know the storm has knocked out all kinds of systems. So maybe the Illydians weren't willing to risk their ships, given all the interference.
D'accord.
Since the day of the revolt, Galvin has seized control of the mines and restricted all access. No one's allowed without his personal authorization. And they've taken over a section of the palace with just as much
Personne ne peut
secrecy
voir
and
ce qui s'est passé,
security.
d'accord. Ça pue.
I'm told it could be something they brought back from the mines. I've made inquiries, but everyone pretends it doesn't exist.
Are you sure of this?
It's been the talk of the palace since the day of the revolt.
Donc la reine est au courant qu'il y a un problème.
How can we know?
I'd better see what's happening.
Do you think you can find out what they're hiding? I need to see proof of something before I can make my case to the Federation.
I can try, but even if I found it, I might not know what to make of it.
Take this. You can use it to capture whatever you find, and then send it to me.
Thank you. I will let you know what I find. And I look forward to our meeting again.
Cher Galvan.
I need a moment of your time.
Ouais, la troisième voix, la plus agressive. Alors qu'est-ce qui se passe?
I'm glad you've chosen to side with the Hotari. I knew the Federation would see through the Illydians' baseless claims.
Non, je suis neutre.
Protect the interests of my people.
To be clear, I'm not on either side of this conflict. Our only interest is peace.
I will keep that in mind.
C'est bizarre cette petite tache violette dans le cou, vous trouvez pas?
I assume you were there the day the mines were seized from the Illydians.
Not seized.
C'est leur veine, c'est un gros muscle.
Reclaimed. And restored to their rightful owners. Yes, I was there. We had to be decisive. Before the Illydians could even realize their worst nightmare was upon them.
Did you have help from someone else?
Hotari stands alone against the Illydian forces. We don't need help from anyone. They respect one thing above all else, and that is force. The greater the force, the more certain the outcome. Any talk of making peace is just that, and worth little without the strength to secure it. Which makes me wonder about your ship, the Resolute. Undoubtedly the Federation's finest warship. Ready to contend with anything the Illydians might have in store. Or is that not true? Maybe I've misjudged it.
La flotte est toujours à portée ou un vaisseau scientifique? La flotte menace un peu.
No need to worry. Even in a worst-case scenario, the fleet is always within reach.
But it would probably take them quite some time to get
Il a voulu
here.
savoir ce qu'on avait comme vaisseau, j'ai l'impression.
Or we might have other ships in the sector.
Of course.
C'est pas mal. Franchement, c'est bien ficelé. Hein. Ils s'informent tous.
A pleasure meeting you, Commander. I'm sure we'll cross paths again.
Bon, les Hotari, c'est pas aussi simple que ça. Allons voir le capitaine Solano.
Soothing.
Et Solano, ok. Je pense qu'il faut revenir par là. Ils sont fâchés.
Well, that was a disaster.
What happened?
The Hotari refused to concede anything, so the Illydians stormed out.
Le statu quo, de toute façon.
The Hotari did not invite us here as peacekeepers. I hope your efforts were more fruitful than ours.
On compte sur elle, hein. Franchement. Et là, on devrait avoir un nouveau chapitre.
Harmonics failing to resolve. Warp bubble stability degrading. Increase output to maximum.
Augmenter la puissance distorsion. Mais écoutez, on avance un peu.
Increasing warp output to maximum.
It's happening again.
Ah, ils sont tous en train de regarder les problèmes. Warp fail. Donc qu'est-ce qui bloque la distorsion? Bah c'est le...
It is evident that presently the Resolute cannot achieve warp propulsion.
Since our diagnostics rule out any problems with our warp systems or anything about the ship, the problem appears to be the fabric of space itself.
Space itself? You're saying something about this region of space prevents warp travel?
Prevents it, or can't sustain it.
However improbable, that appears to be the case.
We need to know more.
The storm didn't stop us from leaving space dock and traveling here. But could it still be causing this interference with warp travel?
We must follow sound investigatory principles. Do not let an assumed conclusion drive your analysis.
Sometimes we need a little inspired thinking, Mr. Chovak. Captain Solano is on his way back from the negotiations, and I want to have some answers for him when he gets here.
Indeed. Given the facts at hand, we may be able to deploy subspace probes around the ship to construct a clear picture of the phenomenon.
Around the ship. I'll prep a shuttle.
Ok, on va triangulariser. La méthode scientifique. Eh ben... Oh, écoutez, c'est énorme tout ça. C'est un nouveau chapitre et on verra ça au prochain épisode. Twitch, sois heureux, on a encore le temps évidemment. Et Tutu, ben, on va revenir au menu principal. On a tous les protagonistes, ça pue et cet orage n'est pas clair du tout. Voilà, c'était le 3e épisode, l'ambassadeur Spock. On est dans le système Otari, on est à la dérive et on enquête. On verra ça. On vous met le son pour les vignettes YouTube et Twitch. On se retrouve dans 2 minutes. Petite pause pour moi. C'était Tekhamon pour vous dans Star Trek Resurgence. Ah tiens, d'ailleurs, les volumes d'effets sonores. Ouais. Voilà. On corrige ça. À tout de suite et au prochain épisode.